Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for the one and only World Improv Network comedy show on Mile High Sports Radio. Take part in the show by giving your suggestions or questions to the cast for each show segment throughout the week, or live during the show by hitting them up on Facebook at World Improv Network, on Twitter at World Improv Net, or by calling in to Mile High Sports Radio studio line. Now, enjoy the show. It's local. It's global. You're listening to WIN World Local News.
WIN World Local News on Mile High Sports Radio. I'm Potter Smittss. Breaking news into the WIN World Local News sports desk from WIN sports reporter Fired Up Frank, who's live beyond the wall in Westeros for the 2016 Game of Thrones Running of the White Walkers. How's the competition and the festivities shaping up, Fired Up?
Well, Potter, first of all, I have to say I have never been so cold in my entire life. It is absolutely freezing. I had to pass through a wall of freaking ice to get here. Can you imagine that? A wall of ice. It's like 200 feet tall. This is an amazing country. It's beautiful. It's very white. You're much like Denver. And as I'm out here, I'm seeing these White Walkers. Did not know they were zombies. Wish they would just call them what they are. They're shockingly fast, Potter. I have to say, if we ever have a zombie apocalypse on Earth, I pray to God that we do not have fast zombies, because my fat butt won't be able to outrun them. And I do want to say they have a wonderful snacking and concession opportunities up here beyond the wall. There's I've had a great leg of mutton, and I was told I actually ate a man, and it wasn't bad. Back to you, Potter.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Maybe one of these days I can meet one of those lovely White Walkers. Well, on to our next breaking story, which is brought to us by WIN contributor Ricardo of Miami, Florida. In lieu of many questions about President Obama's true achievements, Hillary Clinton's honesty, and Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders' political sanity, many are wondering this fine weekend what the real truth behind Memorial Day is. Well, to get to the bottom of this once and for all, let's go live to WIN senior historian and truth reporter L. Ron Cubbard, who's at the Church of Scientology National Pet Cemetery in Clearwater, Florida. L. Ron?
The spirits are high with the midichlorians and spirits emerging from volcanoes. It's clear that this pet cemetery is sitting upon one of the most fertile spiritual grounds around. And I'm actually here with one of the kindred spirits of Scientology. This is Michael Dukakis.
Yeah.
Now...
No relation.
Of course. Now, as Potter mentioned, the question is, what is the meaning behind Memorial Day? And who is it we are here to memorialize? And who is worth memorializing? And why memorialize at all?
Well, in everything I do, try to memorialize the great one, Cthulhu.
And as we're all aware, Cthulhu is the serpent monster with shredding teeth floating through space from an alternate Netherlands sort of dimension.
Sorry. He of the ancient ones. And as I have been passed to and pass on to my family, Memorial Day is to memorialize Cthulhu and his invention of the memorial.
So this goes back to the ancient ones. Now, growing up in my family, we were instructed to remember the soldiers, the fighters of freedom, those that have lost their boots in the sand, as they say.
That's all incorrect.
It's incorrect. Now, you are going against United Statesian tradition for years.
Yes, but the United States is only 40 years old, whereas Cthulhu is 240,000 years old and was the first to invent the memorial.
Very interesting. As you can tell, this tradition goes back many times and is still being redefined. Back to you, Potter.
Wow, I'm saddened that I've been duped all these years to think that Memorial Day was for something else. Well, on to our next top story, which is brought to us by WIN contributor Leslie of Broomfield, Colorado. Harambe, the 17-year-old silverback gorilla of the Cincinnati Zoo, was shot to death today after a 4-year-old boy fell into the gorilla exhibit. Harambe immediately proceeded to tend to the sneaky and unsupervised child after his fall, but zoo officials still decided to murder him in cold blood for his actions of generosity. In lieu of this harsh and unfortunate slaying of Harambe, a Gorilla Lives Matter protest has erupted at the zoo. For all the primate details, let's go live to WIN Chief Veterinarian and Wildlife Reporter Jack Hannibal, who's in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the scene. Jack?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Potter. I'm here at the zoo, and the scene is not the placid scene one would expect. It is a scene of great protest. It is a scene of upset people, women and children. There is much wailing and gnashing of teeth. And I'm here with the leader of the Gorilla Lives Movement protest, the former professional wrestler, Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah, man, this is a tragic day. We lost one of our own, we lost one of our family members from the Congo.
Oh, now, Mr. Monsoon, did you have a personal relationship with Karumbe?
I did not. I actually only arrived this weekend hoping to see him, and I had some brunch with friends at a very classy joint downtown.
Where at?
Blue Jays.
Oh, I've heard great things.
Really great omelets.
Yes.
And because of that, though, I was unable to visit this wonderful, majestic, not just a creature, but a being of enlightenment and a role model for how we ought to live our lives.
Now, that is something that keeps coming up, is Karumbe as a role model for the rest of the gorilla community. Now, I'm told he's published a number of articles in Gorilla Monthly and in just various psychological journals. How has he helped you?
Well, he one of those articles that he that really stood out to me was about he wrote about how much he loves apples and bananas, and just in his writing and his prose, it was clear that his emotions are coming from a place of sincere and genuine passion, and I wish there was only more of that in this world, and it's a little heavier today.
Well, let us all peel a banana in Harambe's honor. Back to you, Potter.
Poor Harambe, what a silverback he was. Well, now for a look at the global weather, let's check in with Tulip Sunspring, who's on Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, at the World Health Organization banning announcement of the 2016 Summer Olympic Games. How's the weather, and why did the WHO call for the cancellation of the Olympics, Tulip?
Hello, Potter. Yes, it is a shock to many, I'm sure. There was a great deal of excitement to be hosting these Olympic Games. As you can hear in the background, the water is very cool. You can't hear temperature, but you can hear the enjoyment of the waters. And perhaps that is one of the reasons that the WHO, not the band, but the organization you mentioned, will be banning because of the recent outbreak of the Zika virus. Of course, has been a great concern, not just within the country, but also outside of the national borders. Many people are full of fear and paranoia. Nonetheless, this weather is encouraging love and embrace via putting sunscreen on each other's backs and whatnot. Back to you, Potter.
Well, thank you, Tulip, for that excellent reporting on the weather again. And thank you all for tuning in to WIN World Local News on Mile High Sports Radio. I'm Potter Smittss, and stay tuned for Community Court next on the World Improv Network.
Give the WinCast your suggestions via Facebook, Twitter, or by calling into the Mile High Sports Radio studio line during the break for a case that needs to be tackled during Community Court. Next on Mile High Sports Radio.